guys? Welcome back to The Other Side, where we talk about trials and triumphs and everything in between, because that's where we believe the magic lies, in the in-between. Today, I'm excited for a guest. He's a friend of a friend, and, we've got to know each other a little bit. He has his own podcast. I'm going to let him tell you all about that. But join me in welcoming Ray the Bull Maese. He's like, Maese.
Thank you.
Welcome, Bull. Nice to have you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I'm very grateful for you, for the invite to come down here and participate and be a part of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this on the way over, and this is something that came out of your imagination.
Yes.
And you say, you know what? I'm going to take action.
Yes.
And I'm going to do this to the fullest and make my idea and what I imagined happen. And you hit me up to come on and be a part of it. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I'm honored. I'm honored to be a part of it. Big time.
You know what? I wanted more men on, right? And I didn't know much about you, but I did know that you went out and started a podcast. And I was kind of surprised because the way you said it happened. And you mentioned that a friend told you what you did as a hobby, which made me laugh because I didn't think guys asked guys about hobbies, one, or that it would even be a big deal, right? But for me, it's not a hobby, it's a passion, and it's something that I felt God led me to do. That's why I started it. And I was really interested on what made you think that, one, what made your friend ask you if you had a hobby, who you hanging out with, that they have hobbies, because I think every person should have a hobby, and those lead you into other things that you love, right? That you find that you love. And why you decided that podcast would be the hobby.
Okay, so the way this all started, I went to a 40th birthday party. This had to be about 8 years ago, right? 9 years ago, 2016. Mm-hmm. I went to a 40th birthday party, and there I ran into a friend of mine who I had not seen in a very long time. So we got to talking, catching up, and he asked me a question that caused a lot of self-reflection, self-evaluation. It caused me to be honest with myself. And down the road, it helped me to reevaluate and recalibrate my life.
So what were you doing at this time? Real quick, I just like to ask everybody how their childhood was because, they get to know you a little bit better, right? And kind of relate a little more. So before we get into that, maybe just a little bit where you grew up, how you grew up.
Okay. I grew up in Boyle Heights at the corner of First and Fresno. I went to Our Lady of Talpa at the corner of 4th and Evergreen. My childhood, I look back at my childhood often, and I think about my childhood often. Mm-hmm. And I realize how lucky I am to have had that experience.
Nice.
I was surrounded by great-grandparents, grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, animals.
So a lot of support.
A lot of support, a lot of love.
Beautiful.
And just all the good stuff, Yeah. And one thing that I've been thinking about and I came to realize is this. This is big because I was talking about this yesterday. That time in my life, that part in my life as a child, right? That time in my life is the most important part of my life for my kids.
Yes,
because
for sure.
That's where I learned how to be a parent. Mm-hmm. I learned how to take care of my kids. I learned how to
love.
Yes.
How to care for, how to get genuine. At least you hope, right? But now that you're an adult, you've realized that you did have it good. That
yes.
Because we don't appreciate it when we have it. We figure it out later.
Yeah.
Because most people's traumas are from their childhood.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's why, it helps to look back.
Yes, absolutely.
And because what happened to you at a certain age when you're a child, right? You're that child when that happened to you. Mm-hmm. And when you look back at it as an adult, you've gone through all of this. You've gone through life, right? And so you're able to look back at that trauma with a whole different perspective.
Absolutely.
A whole different interpretation.
Yes.
And so that trauma can be something that makes you fucking iron. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Just based on the way that you interpret it as an adult.
You hope.
You hope.
A lot of people living on the streets weren't so lucky to use that as iron. They end up, suffering in pain.
Do you think that's because they just weren't taught how to do it?
Well, I don't think they had enough love to realize that they were. And you can't speak for everybody, right? Everybody's life is different. Everybody's childhood is different. You hear about these kids who grew up with a great childhood, just like you did, and they still end up on the streets on drugs.
Yeah, that's sad.
So it's not always our childhood that molds us. And then some of the people that are the richest, the wealthiest, like my ex-husband, he grew up hungry and he grew up in trauma and he grew up pulling food out of the trash and but he became a millionaire, but now he's on drugs. So if we don't deal with our childhood trauma, sometimes we can grow into these amazing human beings because we're always trying to prove a point, and then we've never healed really. And if something happens, we fold like a cheap suit, as they say.
And that could cause a whole lot of problems. A whole chain of a whole negative chain of events.
Yeah.
But
for you, so you grew up great and you had all this love and you were blessed.
Yes.
That's amazing. And you grew up right in East LA.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. So then you're 40 at this time, right?
So getting back to that. So I'm catching up with my buddy, right? I'm catching up with him, right? Patrick. What's up, Patrick? Mm-hmm. Catching up with Patrick. And he asked me a question, like I said, that caused me all this. That kicked off a whole chain of events.
Why do you think it kicked off so much?
I'm going to tell you right now.
Trauma. Okay.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Tell me.
Because I had such a hard time answering that. I told him, I work out, I exercise, I play chess, I read books. On the weekends, me and my wife, me and Darla, we go out, we have a good time, right? And to hear myself say that, I was like, damn, that does not sound exciting, right? So I had a problem with that. Another problem I had was at that point in my life, I was working a 9-to-5 job, right? I was in an office at a desk. It was a promotion. I took that as a promotion. Yeah. And everybody's like, hey, good job, man. Hey, congratulations. This is the place where people retire from. And I was like, all right, well, let's see what it's all about. All right, fuck yeah, right? But when I got there, it was just it was very unfulfilling.
It's like, this is a place where people come to die. It's just like, that's it.
Exactly.
This is it for the rest of your life. But you're going to retire in 35 years. You're
what? Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, I don't want to do that comfortably. Because that's just not me.
Yes. Yes.
So.
And I could tell you have a lot of energy. Yeah.
So, like I said, that caused me to really look at myself and my situation.
Yeah. Just reevaluate.
And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing any of what I just told them I'd like to do.
Oh, so
I'm
you
not
even lied
out.
About your hobbies.
Yeah. That's what I was like, fuck.
That's great. I love it.
I'm not working out. I'm not reading. I'm not playing chess. The only thing I'm doing is eating 3 fucking meals a day. I'm all full. I'm all bloated. Come home, drink a couple of beers, fucking watch Sports Center, go to bed. On the weekends, then me and Darla will go out and do exactly that on the weekends.
And it's so crazy, right? Because it's really most people. I mean, you were feeling bad about yourself, but that is most people.
Because it wasn't me.
So were you very active prior to him? Okay. So what were your hobbies before that then? Did you have hobbies?
Okay.
Did you ever have a hobby?
Well, before I took that 9-to-5er, I was doing all of those.
Okay.
And I was doing them often. So I had fulfillment to my life. But at that point, when I was asked what my hobbies were, that question made me realize that I was feeling unfulfilled and that my current behavior was not producing happiness. So therefore...
So you took responsibility.
You have to change your behavior.
What made you take responsibility? A lot of people would just sit in there like, whatever, and go home and do the same thing over again.
Because I did not want to. Once I realized how I felt, I became aware that I do not want to feel like that.
So he just lit up that blind spot for you. Yeah.
Lit that. And I saw him maybe about a year ago. Yeah. And I told him, hey man, this is what you did. This is what you started.
Nice.
Because
everybody should know when they help someone.
100%.
Because, you're just living your life doing what you want to do, right? Yeah. And then when someone says like, oh my gosh, you really helped me. It's like, oh, damn, I am making a difference. Like, thanks for letting me know. Because I thought I was just flailing around again sometimes, right?
That's why, and that's why you have to, always be open to conversations. Mm-hmm. You always have to be open to new experiences. Mm-hmm. And you always just have to be out in the world with a big you can't have blinders on.
Yeah.
You got to be open to everything, because there is always something out there that is giving you a little hint to
Yes.
which direction you need to go.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
I 100% believe that.
Yes. I don't
You know?
care if it's a bird flying across the sky. If it's a hawk, I'm looking up a hawk spirit animal if I've seen him 3 times a day. You know? I'm like, what are you trying to tell
There's
me?
something going on,
Yes.
because there is.
There is. And I get my messages constantly. I am not kidding. I was walking the dog last night and I'm singing my worship song. And of course, we're singing and we go into our head, and something had me turn, and it was already dark. And I turn and I look, there's a truck, and then there's the address, and the light's right on the address. And the address is 1222.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, Lord, I hear you.
You are where you had to be at that time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. To see my message, and I get them all the time.
Mhm.
You think I'd know by now, but thank God he doesn't stop sending them, because, we're our biggest doubters. At least I am sometimes.
They're always there. You just have to be open to receiving them.
Yeah.
No.
So let's get a hobby. You're not working out. You're not reading books. You're not going anywhere.
Right. And so, but this realization did not come like this.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I sat on it.
Okay.
I sat on it and I was like, damn, something needs to change in order for me to start feeling happy again, feeling joy.
So you didn't
feel-
realize you were feeling unfulfilled. Were you acting out on it?
What do you mean?
Were you maybe a little more quiet? Were you, now that you look back, was it affecting you physically, maybe emotionally, with the family, with Darla? Were you short?
Probably. Yeah. I looking back now, yes, I was like maybe a little bit depressed, but it's like, I don't know what it is that you call it, when one thing causing is this is causing that, that's causing that.
Just
and
cause and
it's
effect.
It's just a circle of everything just causing.
Well, you were just in a whirlwind.
Just like a sick ass.
A cycle.
Yeah, I was like in a sick ass cycle where everything that I was doing was just adding to me fucking not doing what I usually did to be happy.
And it was the depression.
You know what too? And it also comes with age.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was younger, I was able to eat 3 meals a day and be good. As I got older, you eat 3 meals a day and you fucking you get lethargic.
Yeah.
And you want to just not do anything.
Yeah.
And I was stuck with that mentality that you need to eat 3 meals a day in order to be healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I barely eat.
That's good. Yeah.
And people ask me, like, you're so thin, how do you stay thin? And I when I'm hungry, I eat. I'll go eat a pastrami and chili cheese fries when I'm hungry. I'll have a steak and I'll eat, but I'll eat when I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I didn't eat dinner last night. I wasn't hungry. I had a big lunch.
And that takes a lot of things. And one thing it takes is to you being aware of how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so once I sat on this and like I said, I did some self-reflection. I did some self-evaluation. And then the honest part came where I was like, what do I need to do now? So I started, fuck it, just start doing push-ups. Boom. So I started, hey, you know what? It all starts with one push-up.
Yes.
So I started hitting push-ups. And, once you start doing physical exercises, all those feel good neurotransmitters just start hitting the brain, and it changes you. And it changes your chemical makeup. You
For
know what
sure.
I mean?
Yeah.
So I start feeling better. I start seeing some results. I start, all right, feeling good. Start reading again. I start playing chess, then I find out that me and Darla were going to have a baby. So that just lit another fire under my ass. Right. So I was on a good one.
But did you ever talk to Darla about your depression?
I did.
You did. Okay.
I did.
Was this before or after?
It was after, when I realized how I was feeling.
Okay.
I was like, fuck, I just want to come home sometimes and just drink a fucking beer to catch a buzz so that I feel good. But I was like, what the hell? That's not me. Yeah. But that wasn't who I was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was just completely out of character for me. You know what I mean? So
it's kind of the desk job guy.
Yeah. And that's what I was turning into. I was like,
I think because you sit all
guy.
day, right? You sit all day, maybe. I don't know. But yeah.
It's just, some people enjoy that, and some people are built for that.
Yes.
Because that's just what they're meant to do.
Yes.
Me, that is not me. That's not what I was meant to do. And my body was reacting in a way to let me know, hey, this is not for us.
I just made a post about that. if you're going to work, I think you saw it because you liked it, and your soul's like you're not happy.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
soul
Yeah.
crying out like you're in the wrong place.
Yeah. And that's another, like we talked about earlier, you got to follow the signs that are guiding you.
Yes.
You got to follow the omens.
A lot of people don't even know how to feel the emotions in their body though. Like they don't put the emotion, like the feeling with the emotion, the thought, right? They're not connecting the dots. They're living, I think, too chaotic. So they don't sit long enough to connect the dots. But you put yourself in this space like, okay, now I need to see what the hell is going on because I'm not feeling good.
When I was young, my dad told me to worry about what I can control and not worry about what I cannot control.
Yes.
And so I put that to work in my life, right? And I can't control anything out here, but I can't control myself. And I can control the way that I respond to outside stimuli.
Absolutely.
And once I realized that, but it took a while for me to get there because, you know what I did? I went in. I went in meditating, just spending quiet time alone thinking.
Good.
Because I knew that, like I said, I knew that a change had to happen. And the best way to change or to start change is to start from within.
Yes.
And that's what I did. I naturally did that. You know what? We all hear, you throughout your life, everybody tells you, not everybody, but you get advice. You get advice and they tell you that, to work on yourself.
Yes.
Right? To work on yourself. And once you work on yourself, everything else gets better. So that's what I did. I put that to practice.
So what did you do first? Because people say work on yourself. What does that look like, right? What did it look like for you? Because for everybody, it's different.
Okay, so Bob Proctor. You know who Bob Proctor is?
God, that name sounds familiar.
You'll find.
I'm thinking of Procter and Gamble, though. I think
YouTube
I'm not getting paid too bad.
YouTube him, and he's a motivational speaker.
Okay.
Right? And he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich.
God, yes, I've read the book.
I'm sorry. He wrote the book Born Rich.
But no, yeah, that was
Neville Goddard.
Neville Gardner.
So he's a student of him, right? And so,
I've listened to many of Neville Gardner's books.
So one thing that this guy said, he said, work on yourself and the world around you will get better, right? And so it just made a lot of sense what he said.
Yeah.
So I took his advice. I took his advice and I did. I started to meditate.
So you were listening to YouTube's?
YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's what helped me. And that's where I found, I believe it's Neville Goddard. And, and all the other ones, right? All the other great speakers. Not Joel Osteen. Who am I thinking of? Jim Rohn. Oh my God, another one who's.
I love that guy.
I know,
but I do. He's badass.
I know.
He's badass.
You cannot and that's just it, right? Everybody just regurgitates what they said, and it's not even them. It's really the Bible. A lot of stuff that they say is in the Bible. But yeah, so YouTube's, that's what helped me. That's why you started your podcast then. Is that what brought the podcast? Because of the YouTubes that you watched?
What started the podcast was I started to dissect the definition of hobby, and I came up with my own definition of hobby.
Okay.
So your hobby is what you do in your free time.
Yes.
Right? Your hobby is what you do, is what you love to do, and it's what because I used to say that time is the ultimate currency. Time is not the ultimate currency. Your attention is the ultimate currency. Because your attention, your focus, where focus goes, energy flows. Okay. So I was like, what is worth my attention? Because I'm only going to start giving my attention to things that I like to do.
Yes.
And what do I do naturally?
Which is so important, right? People
100%.
don't realize that.
Yeah.
Like saying a no is not a bad thing. Like
yeah.
saying no to going out to the bullshit parties every weekend and just drinking it's okay to say no. Like I can't make that birthday party, but a lot of times guilt sets in for a lot of people.
It's okay to say no to the things that you don't want to do. No matter what it is, fucking say no if you don't want to do it.
Yes.
Because you don't want to,
hurt somebody's feelings. I mean, there's
times.
Your parents.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah. The people that have earned.
I'm not saying to fucking tell everybody no, you know what I mean? But there's a time and place, to say no. You know what I mean? So I said, what is it that I do naturally that I love to do? That I do that I don't even realize that I'm doing?
Yeah.
I love chopping it up with people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of humans.
Yes.
I love talking to people. I love hearing people's stories.
Mm-hmm.
I love hearing about their past.
Yeah.
And then I connect that past to their current behavior.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, this is why. All right, cool. All right, now I get it. You know what I'm saying? And
Doesn't it create so much empathy when you actually speak to people with understanding as opposed to judgment?
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
And that, and that's another reason why I started I started the podcast as well.
Yeah.
Because one of my goals is to experience as many realities as possible.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And talking to people,
Mm-hmm.
you are experiencing their reality
Yes.
when they're talking
Yes.
and they're articulating their experience.
Yes.
You're if you're paying attention and you're in it,
Mm-hmm.
you are experiencing it as well.
Yes.
And you're learning from their experience as well.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And it might not even
if it's just their fire, their passion
there you go.
behind the thought process.
Yeah.
You might inspire somebody today like, oh, maybe I just need to sit in silence and figure out why I don't feel good. And
there you boom.
Yeah. But people don't do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are afraid of silence.
No.
Yeah, they are.
How about this? How about
They don't
this?
want to hear their own
I
thoughts.
just came up with a crazy idea. Maybe this is something that other people have thought about. I'm sure they have. Why aren't we in school, young kids? Why aren't young kids taught how to meditate?
That's what my ranch is going to be for.
How to connect?
They should.
What'd you say right now? You're what?
My ranch.
What is this?
Oh, yeah, you're going to help me.
What the hell is this? I'm down. What is it? I'm down. Yeah.
That's my main goal, to build a ranch where they have equine therapy, where they come to learn to meditate, where they learn breath work, where they're able to, farm to table.
What a great idea.
Yes, cook with their family, prepare with their family, eat with their family. There's so much in preparation and the intimacy and all the beautifulness, right?
Well, good luck. What a great idea. I support that.
All
And any way I can help, let me know.
Okay.
100%.
Well, you're here.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But I think that the way you said people are afraid of silence, people don't know how to do it.
Right.
And I think that it is important for our fucking mental
health. How did you do it,
spiritual health.
Bull? Why don't you tell him? Because you're so, and you're a guy, right? That's why I wanted a guy on here, because guys think of themselves meditating, a lot of them. And it's just like, especially, you guys don't know. I couldn't even tell you what he does because he has a very intense job, and very like undercover kind of. So he's a manly man, right? They don't call you Bull for nothing, And so to have him here talking about meditation, it's huge, because I need those other guys to know, like, you don't have to, doesn't make you a sissy boy, right? All the things that they may have heard when they were little about sitting in silence or meditating or being quiet and just being. How does somebody so tough and so rough and so like, sit in silence with 3 kids and a wife?
You do it early in the morning or late at night or when there's nobody home. Yeah. But yeah, how do I do it? I just breathe. I just sit down. I try to take time out of every day just to sit in silence and sit in my thoughts. Mm-hmm. Whether it be before I get dressed for work, I'll sit down on the floor. I'll do some stretches, and then I'll just sit down and just think and plan out my day. Or when I'm in bed at nighttime, laying on my bed, I'm breathing, and I just start thinking about, just let my brain wander. I go, I give gratitude for the things that I have. I try to plan out my day and imagine my day, what I'm going to be doing the next day, and just quiet the noise. Quiet all the distractive noises that are around me and focus on something. It could be anything.
How do you keep the negative thoughts out of your head? Because a lot of people, when they lay in bed at night, right, they're thinking about the next day, but they're thinking about the bills, and they're thinking about all the stuff they have to do with the kids, and they're thinking about all the stresses of the next day, as opposed to the gratitude and maybe planning their day out so they have a better day, as opposed to, the shitty day they're expecting. Because I'm sure you'd agree with me. If you're expecting a shitty day the next day, you're going to get a shitty day the next day, right?
Yeah.
But if you're expecting to wake up and to hit that day running, and sometimes that doesn't happen either. But if we're able to shift our mindset and be like, okay, well, that didn't work out, but you just get so much better at that, right? But how do you knock those thoughts out at night when they try and come in?
It's not their time to be in my head.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because there's times where I'm laying in bed at night, and the next day I got all kinds of crap I got to get done, and I might not be fully prepared for the shit that I got to do, but I'm gonna have to do it anyway.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I just accept the fact that tomorrow might be, I might take a couple on the chin, and it all depends on how I respond to it.
Right.
We all have a choice in life.
Yes.
We could either view the world through optimistic goggles or pessimistic goggles.
Yes.
And I choose to view the world through optimistic goggles.
Yeah.
But I was always like that. I had that little down point in my life, had multiple, you know what I mean? Where it's just, shit's just not going right. And it's easy to not filter out negativity.
Yeah.
But once I started spending time doing things that I enjoy doing, the hard days didn't become harder. They became less hard.
And when most people think that they'll become harder, right? Because now you're adding something else to your already busy plate. But it's actually something you love. So you found that it brings you more peace as opposed to feeling like you had more work?
Because then I'm not wanting to do it while I'm doing what you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me do something that I enjoy doing before I come over here and have to do this. Because then I'm not thinking about it. Doesn't happen all the time. It's not always like that because you can't always do that.
Right.
But if I'm able to do something that I enjoy doing and then do something that, is it something really that I enjoy doing? That becomes, the experience is better.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because it's actually fueling what you really love to do.
And everybody is different.
Yeah.
That's just the way that I am. And I'm lucky that I learned how to kind of, how my mental get down is. That's just how I get down.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
Yeah. So how did you tell when you were feeling like a little depressed? How did you speak to your wife about it?
I told her when I come home, I feel like I want to have a beer because that will kind of relax me or, kind of put me in a different state of mind a little bit. It'll change my, my chemical makeup a little bit and maybe relax me a little bit. And to hear myself say that, you might be a certain way, but you don't know until you hear yourself say it, and then you become, oh shit, you know what I mean? And to hear myself say that was rough.
Yeah, that's why people get coaches, because they mimic, right? They mirror you, and they actually make you say the things that you're saying again out loud to somebody else. Like it's different when we say it out loud to ourselves, but when we say it out loud to somebody else, like you lying about the working out and the books and your hobbies, then it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Then you kind of really hear it, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm very lucky too. I'm gonna just say this real fast.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky for my wife, Darla.
Oh God, yes, you are.
You know what I mean?
His wife is, yeah.
The way, like she makes me a better person.
Yeah,
Fucking
I
straight
love
up.
it.
Holds me accountable for shit that I don't want to do.
But you know what?
I mean?
You have to be willing to listen to it, right?
Yeah, I respect her. That's
why
fine.
don't you talk on that for a minute? Like how you do, because there's a lot of men that when you tell them something, they don't want to hear it. They don't. It goes in one ear and out the other. It's like, oh, she's bitching, right?
Yeah.
I've heard that a lot, not from me, but I've heard a lot of people say that. Oh, she's bitching, and it's like. One, I don't think you should ever tell your wife she's bitching, right? Because she's obviously has something on her mind. So how did you find yourself willing to take in what she had to say?
Because it's usually when she's saying something to me that could be interpreted as bitching, it's because it's something that needs to get done.
Yeah.
And
there's a reason to bitch.
There's no arguing against it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, A, B, C, and D. Well, fuck. You're right. All right. A, B, C, I'll get it done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm very lucky to have her.
Yeah.
Because she's not crying over spilled milk.
Well, I mean, and she's a hustler, man. His wife, you guys, she points. She's all about the points. She credit cards
Oh,
and
yeah.
gets all those. You guys have gone on free trips, free flights,
Yeah.
free vacations, like
Yeah.
all this. Yeah. On her just hustling and doing her points and her social media and her, yeah. So you did have like so did she feel at all like she was 100% in, I'm sure, for you to do, your podcast, what you wanted to do?
She backs me up on it.
How does she support you in that?
Giving me my time to get it done.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
Because you have 3 young boys.
I have 3 boys, yeah.
Ages?
My twins are 6 and my oldest is 8.
Wow.
So, those guys right there too, they're another reason why I am the way that I am with how I navigate, how my new, the new, I guess you could say like the new way that I navigate, you know what I mean? Navigate the world just with my optimistic goggles.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard the term mental alchemy?
Yes.
With turning a bad situation into a good situation,
Mm-hmm.
always looking for the positive, because I can't be walking around in a fucked up mood in front of my kids.
Right.
I got to give them the best version of me that I could possibly give.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
Most people don't. A lot of people don't think like that.
Yeah. They don't. Yeah, they don't.
They don't. So it's nice to hear, right? Because you know that you're the example. Like your parents, your grandparents were the example for you, how to be a good parent. Now you realize that you're the example for them, right? How they're going to show up in the world.
Right.
They're either going to be the positive people or they're going to be the negative people.
That's, our kids are our legacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And who else can teach them but us?
Right.
Otherwise, somebody else will be.
I'm 49 years old, right? I still have my parents, thank God. I'm 49 years old. And I still hear my dad's voice in my head. I still hear my mom's voice in my head when I come to certain situations.
Ugh, that just like broke my heart. And only because you had the beautiful voice, right? It made me think of all those people who still hear their parents' voices in their head, but telling them all the shitty things that they did when they were little. Right. So those are the people that I try to connect to, right? And I'm sure that you try to connect to. Like those voices are, we got to get rid of them. We have to realize them, face them, and move on. Right? So how do you choose your guests for your podcast?
Through just invite everybody, invite as many people on as you want to come on the podcast. You want to come on the podcast? Invite as many people on as possible, and just whoever wants to come on. And before they come on, we have a conversation. And because my whole thing, well, first let me just say what the underlying whole idea of my podcast is. Everybody has important significant experiences in their lives that has shaped who they are today and continue to influence their mental get down and the way they navigate.
Yep.
So I want to bring people on, and I want to give them the opportunity to articulate these stories. I want to, like I said, experience different realities. So I want to hear this story. I want to give other people the opportunity to hear the story, to relate, to connect, to get something from it. And also the person, my guest who's telling the story, they have an opportunity to retell and maybe interpret differently.
Yes.
Because they're not the same person they were when they had that experience.
Yes. That's the main reason why I started mine, was that. Like I said, coaching, right? When you hear yourself say something, it was because when I finally told my story after 50, and I realized how much shit I was still holding on to from when I was 18, and then my healing started, I was like, I need to give people the platform to start their real healing journey.
100%.
And to share that story and to get it out, right? To get rid of the shame, because now it's out on YouTube and nobody gives a shit. Like nobody even cares.
Yeah.
They literally forget about it a week later.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why on the news, when something tragic happens, then the next story is about this movie star who like did whatever, cheated on it's like, forget about that because we got this now. I mean, that's how fast the world moves.
Right.
But we hold on to the shame and the stories, and we're the ones holding us back when the world really doesn't care much. No. Because unfortunately, they just don't really care that much about people and their story, right? A lot of times. So they're just looking for the next big story. But it's us that are suffering because we're holding on to the pain and the hurt and the trauma. And
it's like us who care too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I care.
Yes.
I care for people.
Yes.
I want.
They feel it. I believe they genuinely feel it. And that's why they're willing to get on your podcast and share their story.
I try to positively influence everyone and everything that I come in contact with.
Yeah.
Whether it be through conversation or just my fucking presence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I try, I'm right here fucking talking. I try to, you know, like, boom, you know, positively influence just with my energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone and everything and everywhere that I exist. Oh, walk into a room.
Yeah.
Hey, I just fucking light that motherfucker up.
My God, you might scare people. Yeah. Just make sure you're in the right room. I can see you walking into a room with a bunch of little ladies. You're like, I'm fucking here. Let's go.
I was talking to a lady right now. I walked out and I was like, whoa, I almost bumped into her. I was like, oh, my bad. I'm sorry. You know, they need to put mirrors, chopped it up in there real fast. I got a cool little smile. Yeah.
She's like, who is
but I get it though. I could be too fired up. I could be too like my friends, like I work there, like, hey man, when you shake people's hands, you fucking want to take their hand from them. I was like, all right, I gotta
slow down.
You know what? Fuck you. Get ready for that shit when you see me there. Because I'm gonna come here and take your fucking hand when I shake it. I love you. I'm gonna hug you hard too. And kiss your fucking ass.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
I hope you didn't mean that literally.
No, like my friends,
Yeah.
like my friends, my close friends, like the people that I love, I'll get them.
No, I mean kiss their ass.
Kiss them on the cheek. Yeah, no.
All right. So now your podcast. So let's get back to that. So how did you start? Like, how did you just?
So I was, what do I like to do? This is what I like to do. This is what I do naturally. And I was like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to start a podcast. I told my buddy, we were in I think I was in fucking Rosarito or in Mexico City. I was in Mexico and we were having beers and I had been thinking about this. I sat on this for like 2 years and I told him, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I sat on it for like 2 years and I was like, dude, I'm going to fucking do this. And he's like, do it.
You thought about it longer than it did to get me to do it.
And then I guess I just wanted to make sure that was the direction I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Before I start, you know, putting my resources into it, I wanted to make sure it was worth it.
And that you were going to commit and be serious about it.
Because I put a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of videos. I wanted, you know, like, because you just can't, you could set up a camera and you could set up your phone.
Yes.
Set your phone up and just press record.
Absolutely.
And that was actually my first podcast was like that, Zero. We talked about the Apollo moon landing. Talked about that. And that was just done with my phone set up. And so then I, you know, continued doing research. I was like, you know what? I'm going to upgrade microphones. I'm going to get some lavalier mics. And I recorded like that for like about 1.5 years. And then I stopped. And then I was going good.
Oh.
And then I stopped. I had like about a 6-7 month fucking pause.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Why?
I had a couple of cancellations on me and I was like, fuck, you low-key kind of made me kind of pissed off.
You know what's so funny is that I never have 2 people booked in one day. I had 2 people booked in one day and one canceled. And then I was like, because it never happened. And then I believe my backup canceled. And I was like, what the hell? And it was really discouraging because it had never happened before. And then you're like, well, now what do I do? You know?
Start calling people.
No, like,
hey, you want to come on?
Yeah, like I have a booking, like, you know, in an hour. So like, what do you do? And it did it set me back a little bit.
Yeah,
so it
set me back 6 months, and I was just like, I started doing other things, but I never lost the passion to. I knew I was gonna pick it up again. I was still talking about it, inviting people on, but we just weren't recording.
Yeah.
So then, I upgraded my mics. Then I started getting back into it. I started focusing on it. Upgraded my mics. Did a couple of things. You know, learned a little bit more. I got an audio interface, and so I was like, you know what, this, you know, we're gonna get at it again.
Yeah.
So then I just started recording, inviting people on. Boom, boom, recording. I recorded yesterday. I have I got another one set up for the beginning of October, right? And so I got another one for the end of October. So I'm good right now. I'm good.
Yeah.
I have momentum.
Good little flow. Yes.
Yeah, I have momentum, but it took a lot of me learning how to get things done correctly because, you know, everybody has their own way of doing things.
Yes.
So I had to listen to the way everybody does things and then figure out which one it was that I was able to do.
But you would have never, ever figured it out if you would have never tried, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what I need people to know. You have to try in order to figure out if it works or not, or what works for you, because we can find every excuse not to do it, every reason not to do it. What if it doesn't work out? What if I end up taking 6 months off? But then you just got back at it. Like, you just get back at it, right? We don't have to, it's not like you failed. I think people get so stuck on that idea, like, well, I can't start. Then what if I don't do it? Like, life happens.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Yeah.
But start. And then maybe you'll figure out what didn't go well. And when you start again, then you come back with a vengeance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What do they say? That a person should not be measured on how many times they get knocked on their ass, but how many times they get up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's kind of like what happened with me and the whole podcast situation.
Yeah.
With me taking the time off. Like you say, you come back with the vengeance.
Yeah.
But it was also something that I enjoy doing.
Yes.
And I knew that I was going to continue to do it because it fulfills it gives me an opportunity to be creative. It gives me an opportunity to record. It gives me an opportunity to talk. You know.
So have you always been a creative?
I've always had a big imagination.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
I've always had a big imagination, and this gave me an opportunity to take action on what I imagined
And explore. So you like your setup now?
I do. I'm probably going to continue to upgrade because I record out of my garage.
Yeah.
It does the job.
Yeah.
I still record with my cell phone.
Yes.
I just upgraded the microphones and I upgraded it. Like I said, I have an audio interface.
Yeah.
But I do not know how to edit vocals.
Okay.
I do all my editing on CapCut.
Yeah.
You know, I do enough to get the job done.
Yes.
But I'm still learning.
Yes. Well, you know, it's always learning because things are always changing, especially when it comes to YouTube and technology. I mean, you know, there's a new microphone probably every month out that's bigger and better, just like everything else, right? But as long as you're doing it, I think that's what matters the most is that you're just consistent and you're doing it. Because most people don't even know the difference.
Yeah.
You know, they don't.
What do you think stops people from starting things they want to do?
Fear.
Like fear of not being successful.
Fear of judgment of how they look, what they sound like, not being successful, not becoming famous, not making a bunch of money. Like why start a YouTube? Like all these reasons, right? Look, I talked to this young girl just the other day. She's a friend and she was actually on TV. She was on American Idol and she was telling me all the excuses why she couldn't do, you know, get money, work, whatever. And I was like you. The bull came out of me. And I was like, bullshit. Bullshit. You're talented. Stop it. I went through the whole mindset, right? It's your mind. Like, you're the only one holding your girlfriend. We live in technology land. Like, put up your phone, get on TikTok and start singing. That's all you have to do. Like, we don't have to make it this big event. It doesn't have to be so daunting. I mean, and if people would spend more time looking at the crap that's on social media, I mean, geez, come on. Like you could do anything on there. And if you did it consistently enough, you can make money. If you got on YouTube every day and farted, I swear to God, if you recorded every single fart you did, people would watch.
There's people who are making millions on their farts.
Are they? See?
Yeah.
Shut up. I didn't even know that. But I'm just like, that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
How embarrassing is that? But it's like, so there's really no excuse.
Absolutely.
There is no excuse.
If somebody is willing to put their butt on camera and fart, you should be willing to get out there and fucking dance.
Oh my gosh.
Or not even that, just do get
anything, like whatever makes you happy, but there's no reason why you're not doing anything. I mean, I saw this really like big girl, and she's in her bathing suits and she's just making these fat videos and she's making all kinds of money. And I sent it to my girlfriend. I'm like, girl, you lost all that weight for nothing. I'm like, you should have just put on a bikini and like.
You know what? There is something for everybody.
There's something for everybody. Hey, they don't have the website BBW for nothing. There's men that look big, beautiful women. Like, you know, there is something for everyone.
Something for everyone. That's why you should not be afraid to be
who you
something
are
for somebody.
And who you are. Just be you. But they don't, a lot of times too, they don't know who they are. That was my problem. I got divorced. I didn't know who the hell I was. Who am I? I was a wife. I was a mother.
Oh, wow. You had to kind of like
I didn't work.
Identity.
6 years ago, I was a stay-at-home wife. And then he became an addict. So my mind was even screwed up. But, you know, when I decided like, okay, now I got to do shit for me. Like, this is my future now. Then, yeah, I just had to turn it around. And I don't know. Like you said, I followed the signs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I literally followed the signs.
Follow the omens.
Mm-hmm. Because I didn't want to do a podcast. It wasn't a hobby. I had the fear. Who's going to want to listen to me? Like, no filter? Like, what? Like, all the things. But I heard God say no. It helped you. Now you help somebody.
It takes a lot of courage to come out here and do something like this because you're putting yourself out there to everybody.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. And then my story, how embarrassing is that? And everybody's waiting. They were waiting for me to fall. Oh, she married him for his money. She's a gold digger. Let's see what she does with her life now. Like, everybody's waiting. Oh, now she doesn't have the money, right? You know, I know they're out there.
Yeah, they're always out there.
Yeah, they're always out there. But you have to just say, fuck them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not give a shit.
Absolutely.
But most people don't know how to do that. They're so worried about what other people are going to think. And, you know, I don't know. Is it justified? Get Jimmy Kimmel, maybe, right? I don't know.
I guess that's like having tough skin comes into play.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're going to get criticized in life.
But you're going to get criticized regardless of what you do, right?
Exactly.
Even
we should be fucking used to getting criticized.
Exactly.
Used to people pointing the finger at our flaws.
Yes.
And all you could do is laugh at it.
Yes.
My dad told me, my dad again. Hey, Dad, what's up?
Good.
My dad told me when I was a little boy.
That's how important it is for your dad to speak wisdom into you, right?
He told me, and this is something that I tell my kids too, if somebody makes fun of you, you just laugh at them because then you take the power away from what they're trying to do for you.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
And so I try to tell that to my kids as well. Like, hey, this is going to be important in your life because you're going to get people who are going to they're going to find your flaw and then just point at it and just talk about it. In front of
you know
everybody.
what? And the reason is because they don't want anybody looking at their flaws.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
People only criticize others when they can't stand paying attention to themselves. So they have to look elsewhere and have everybody else look elsewhere so they're not looking at them.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? They say what is it for the movie stars? Like, any attention is good attention.
Exactly.
Yeah. So any publicity is good publicity.
Any publicity.
Yeah, because if nobody's talking about you, that means you're just not doing nothing at all.
Yeah.
Right? At least the people that are doing, you don't want them doing bad, but at least they're like doing something, right? I always say, like, if the criminals would spend as much time as they do, like, ripping people off, they'd be millionaires if they put that energy towards something positive.
Yeah.
You know, because, hey, credit card fraud, like, look at.
You got to be smart to do
You
something.
got to be smart.
A lot of, you know what? It's funny because I was reading somewhere that was saying that a lot of criminals that are who are guilty or they're conducting these complicated crimes, they could be CEOs.
Yeah.
Easily be a CEO, easily start and run a successful business just because of the mind power it takes to accomplish what they're doing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just that it was unfortunate for them that they did not go down that road. Instead, they did this road. No guidance. You know what I mean?
And I was just going to say that. I mean, choice too, but it's putting yourself out there to meet these people. Because if you're always hanging out in the slums, then all you're going to learn is what they're doing in the slums. Mm. But, you know, if you decide, and I think that's the problem too, if people grow up one way, right, in the slums, let's say, they don't have the confidence to step into another room.
Okay. They
feel like they're going to be judged. They feel like they're not going to be welcome. And a lot of times they are. They are judged and they aren't welcome. Mm-hmm. But that's where the tough skin comes in. Because it doesn't matter how many of them welcome you and how many of them judge you. Because I don't know if in your experience, there's always one. There's always one person that's going to see somebody stepping out of their comfort zone and want to bring them in.
Okay, yeah.
You know, want to teach, right? They're going to meet a bull or they're going to meet a me. Like if I see somebody uncomfortable, I make it a point to make them feel welcome.
Right.
That's who I am.
Right.
And I think it keeps a lot of people out of the rooms because they're afraid they're not going to meet me or you. They're just going to be judged.
They're just going to be judged. And like you said, like, man, and I think that's very important. You talked about somebody who grew up a certain way, right? It's very important for everybody, for people to be exposed to other ways of living and other realities.
Yes.
So that they realize their way of living is not the only way.
Right.
You know,
They can see the other side.
they can see the other side.
See, I
Boom.
did that.
You said that a couple times. You've said the other side a couple times. Yeah, that's right.
I don't really do it on purpose, but I mean, that's why I named it the other side, because there is another side.
Yeah.
And if they just like are brave long enough to sit in the uncomfortable room
Mhm.
and to listen, maybe not even meet anything, but just listen to what they're talking about. You know how many rooms I've sat in and not had a clue what they were talking about?
Mhm.
But I kept going back until I understood what they were talking about. Because if we don't, then we'll never understand and we'll never see.
Well, exposure, right?
Exposure.
And the same way that the person who grew up, it could work the opposite way as well. Someone who grew up on this side of the fence,
Yes.
it's good for them to also understand and experience the other side of the fence.
Absolutely.
You know, and it doesn't even matter. I think that, you know,
You have to gain empathy.
and the more you know, the better you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because you're able to understand people more.
Yeah.
Because you've put yourself in an environment with other people, not like you,
Right.
different.
And that's
than
huge.
you. Huge.
That's huge. That
So
conversation's huge.
huge. So we do have to wrap up, but
What's up
I
with that
want
tattoo?
I have a few tattoos. I just got this one
Boom.
to remind myself.
I like this one right here too.
Yeah, that's pretty new
I
too.
like that.
Yeah, this is how I
I got
how I express myself.
That's right. Boom. I got tattoos as well. I got a lot of
Yeah.
tattoos. Not a lot of tattoos, but I got boom, boom, my back. I got my ribs done, and I'm on my way to finish. Not when pool season and summer's over.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish this.
Nice. So, Bull, if you could leave anybody with some words of wisdom, what would it be?
It would be to imagine the future that you want for yourself. Decide on the behavior or the actions that will produce that future, and then behave in a manner that will produce that future. And do not be afraid of people doubting you. Don't be afraid of anything that's outside of your control. Worry about what you can control. And the most important part of your life that you can control is the way that you perceive the world. Choose to view the world, because we all have the choice. We all have the choice to view the world through positive goggles or negative goggles. Please, for yourself, for your family, for everybody involved in your life, choose to view the world through positive goggles, because it makes it easier for everybody.
Yeah, for sure, for everybody. You know, you talked about your dad, if you could fix it. I went to Joe Dispenza, and he had a video, and it was this little graph, and it had 3 circles, and it said, you have a problem? Yes. Can you fix it? No. Then why worry? You have a problem? Yes. Can you fix it? Yes. Then why worry? It's like,
Why worry about anything?
why worry?
Yeah,
If you can't fix it, then no need to worry. If you can fix it, no need to worry. Like, let the worry go and just get on,
I like that.
right? Boom again.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here. I
Thank
really
you for having me.
appreciate
Thank you for having
you.
me. I knew that I had to come down here today.
Yeah,
I knew it.
good. Because they needed to hear what you had to say.
Thank you for having me.
Because you are a
Anytime.
different type of energy. So to hear you talk about, having a hobby and getting a hobby, it's good for others to hear. And you're a busy man. You have a wife, you have 3 kids at home, so if you can find time for it, and a very busy, stressful job. But I can't tell you what it is. It's my secret. I feel like I'm in the inn now.
You are.
All right, guys. Thanks for visiting. We'll see you next time. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And the name of your podcast, Bull.
The name of my podcast is Let's See What Happens Podcast. Let's See What Happens Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, X. And you could just search the hashtag LSWHP. Nothing's taboo. We cover it all.
There you go. Go check him out. Give him some likes, subscribes, comments. And yeah, we'll see you next time on the other side. Bye.